In 1966, two brothers, Paul and Jim Van Doren, partnered up with Gordon Lee and Serge D'Elia, decided to also open up a business in Anaheim, California on March 16th. It was unique as the company called the Van Doren Rubber Company manufactured their shoes on premises and sold them directly to the public at the same location. The routine was customers would purchase shoes and they would be made during the morning and ready for pickup in the late afternoon hours. The first day of opening, they had 12 customers. Eventually, they had changed the name to the official House of Vans in the early 70s.
Nice.
Around this time, local skateboarders were often seen sporting and wearing the sticky gum-like soles, Vans number 44 deck shoes, and it then soon became a trend all over Southern California. In 1976, the Era shoe, Vans number 95, was designed. It had a padded soft collar and mixed color combinations. Over time, this shoe had become the choice for many generational skateboarders, amateur and pro. At this moment in its timeline, the official logo was added and made its debut. A year later, Vans number 36 came out and titled it Old School, SKOOL, which had added the signature famous side stripe. This side stripe started out from a small random doodle by Paul Van Doren, in which he called it the jazz stripe. For being called Old School, it actually had some new additions as designers added leather panels for increased durability. A new group of people became lovers of Vans, and the Vans number 98 came out, as it was a whole new style, becoming what we know now as the classic slip-on icons. Comfort with simple style. By the end of the 70s, Vans had about 70 stores in California and started to sell nationally and internationally through company dealers. With new change came another new style to premiere in store windows, and that was the SK8 Skate High as Style 38. They upped the game and made it go above and beyond by going up slightly above the ankle, where skaters used and abused and took beatings to their exposed ankles before. New look and more light protection. Fans love and promote that in 1982, Sean Penn wore slip-on Vans in the movie cult classic Fast Times at Ridgemont High. In the late 80s, Vans actually filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection.
Oh, shit!
This sadly came to be as the company had drained resources and funds as they were not able to overcome debt owed from trying other styles and designs which apparently did not sell as much as the others. The company was able to pay off all its troubles and debt in just 3 years. Before the end of the 80s, the brand introduced the first signature skate shoe, the Vans Steve Caballero, also bringing weather-resistant materials to footwear that was called the Mountain Edition for the first time as well. Entering the 90s, Vans created the Vans Snowboard Boot in the fall season of 93 into the winter of 94. Vans were becoming so popular and cultural that it entered onto the music stage and was loved by musicians. The company started to partner up with a music festival sponsoring its event. This was the Warped Tour. In 1996, Vans also sponsored the inaugural Triple Crown of skateboarding. This led to Vans and Supreme coming together to launch a long-term partnership with a series of co-branded old school kicks. The following year, Vans branched out more with creating the world's leading acting sports series with its purchase of the Triple Crown of surfing and eventually the Vans Triple Crown series of skating, BMX, surfing, wakeboarding, snowboarding, freestyle motocross, and supercross. The series had a broadcasting partnership with ESPN too. So much was going on that even built and created a first of its kind indoor-outdoor skate park at the Block at Orange Mall in Orange County. In 2001, VANS bought controlling interest in the Summer Festival series, and it was officially called and renamed the VANS Warped Tour. VANS was also busy assisting with the production of the movie Dogtown and Z-Boys. After some time with ESPN2 and continuous expansion, VANS entered into television deals with NBC and Fox Sports. Eventually, VANS launched and released the Vault Collection, an offering and selection of timeless footwear combining the worlds of sneaker, high fashion, and premium design to VANS classics. In 2005, VANS had wanted to twist some things up in regards to their skate street contest and competitions. The VANS Downtown Showdown was born. This event was held in the backlot of Universal Studios on Labor Day. It was a mixture and adventure of not just skating and tricks, but of street art and vibes. It was a cultural movement to many, as the obstacle theme and inspiration was to be from Brooklyn City Block Sessions, where VANS invited skateboard companies and brands to submit designs for the actual event, which is pretty cool. And VANS continued to become relevant and supportive of the sports that helped build its brand, assisting success with VANS in Hard Rock, Let It Ride, BMX Jam. The shoes continued to expand with new creations and guest designers like even Marc Jacobs. In 2006, VANS celebrated 40 years. With a sudden push for women's collections in the lines, VANS was seeing more customers at their partnered stores like PacSun, Journeys, Zoomies, and Hot Topic. This was the same year that pro skater Anthony Van Engelen became the first team rider for VANS apparel. In the early 2000s, it was pretty clear that the brand was going strong and clearly made a cultural relevance. I mean, especially with its famous music series, Warped Tour, with punk rock and the skate community. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum knew this was something special to remember and document. So in Cleveland, it opened an exhibit highlighting the tour's first 12 years. In addition to letting guest designers come in and add a little extra something, VANS shocked fans with giving high promotion and rumors about a new art to come. This was all in relation to the highly anticipated special collection, the VANS, The Simpsons Special Edition and Series. 2009 came with a headline, VANS Off the Wall, where Harry N. Abrams published stories of Soul from VANS originals, where shared accounts of many action sports legends, artists, and musicians who had helped shape, promote, and change the future of the VANS brand in not just the California culture, but all over. The following year, VANS opened up the House of VANS event space in Brooklyn, New York. The grand opening featured music from Public Enemy. That same year, VANS Custom Culture program had 326 schools across the United States to participate in customizing shoes in a contest where many connections and exciting events were to be attended in result of winning, along with receiving a $10,000 grant towards the winning school's art program. That's very awesome. Very cool. From 2011 to 2013, we saw VANS grow into producing films and store openings around the world. From then forward, we saw collaborations with Disney, Metallica. The next year, they created the spring 2014 Beatles Yellow Submarine, and even Star Wars Special VANS Edition. In March 2014, VANS opened up a skate park in Huntington Beach, California, with a large celebration with 1,000 people in attendance. Finally, in 2015, another highly anticipated project came to light. Propeller A VANS skateboarding video. VANS, believe it or not, first skate film. What? 2016 came and many events of milestones took place following along, adding to more new changes and excitement. One reason to celebrate was because VANS celebrated 50 years of off-the-wall heritage on March 16th in that year, with the focus on the story of VANS as their new and latest campaign. The company later on established skates, first ever men and women's park terrain world championship series, the VANS Park Series. Its goal was to grow and bloom participation and trend of skateboarding internationally, as well as to inspire the culture and values of skateboarding world onto the full global stage. Later on, towards June of that year, VANS permitted Illustrated Magazine's brand's first full-length BMX film at the Mohawk in Austin, Texas. In 2017, VANS launched the This Is Off the Wall campaign, while also releasing a series of short films highlighting individuals and talents who helped inspire the VANS brand throughout their passion and years. With no break and no turning back, they continued to reach new dreams and create new plans. Opening up a House of VANS in Chicago with a 2-day celebration, the event was all art forms, from music and photography to highlights of memorable moments of House of VANS locations worldwide, history, and stories. One of the most exciting fan favorites is the debut of the VANS BMX Pro Cup Series, which came to play in 2017 as the world's definitive platform for BMX park terrain competition, which also showcased the very talented BMX athletes from all across the world. In October that same year, VANS expanded to New York with the opening of the General by VANS, which was located at 102 North 6th Street in Brooklyn, New York, the famed Williamsburg neighborhood. It has been said to be the most ambitious and experience-driven store to date, as it features custom-designed studios, exhibits, and exclusive products of the most famous and loved brand. 2018 came with some unexpected drama, as VANS had plans to sue Target for apparently copying and ripping off their old school collection kicks. The lawsuit launched against the giant retail store, citing that they had copied likeness and the idea from their design and model. Target's shoe design is all black with a different and slightly curved side stripe on its side. They actually have been coined the fake VANS, the cheaper VANS, and even VANS for the poor, which VANS said actually hurt their brand by its low cost of $16 versus their apparent higher so-called quality, well-known and established $60 shoes. Now, this wasn't the first time that VANS had sued another company regarding their shoes. In 1998, they attempted to go after Skechers for using their checkered board slip-on likeness. Skechers and VANS had settled outside of court in that case. Many people have been torn with this whole type of issue because today's economy, not many can afford such high prices for shoes, let alone sneakers. Not really high fashion for dressing up. So in that light, it seems fair to let those who can't afford the real VANS shoes to still share love for the design, the vibes, and acceptance when out being in social in the community. As many also argue that there are lots of thin lines in lawsuits when it comes to fashion and branding similarities, VANS' argument was that Target and Wild Fable knowingly did this design and print on purpose because they know the chances of sales would be high due to the confusion or likeness with VANS. Sadly, a young 25-year-old BMX rider named Tyler had passed away from a freak accident at the VANS skate park in Orange in February 2020. I was not lucky enough to grow up near an actual official VANS skate park, but at one time, the Garden State Plaza Mall in Bergen County, New Jersey, used to have a VANS store with a drop-in ramp until there were too many accidents and restrictions, and eventually the management team did away with it. In regards to Tyler in California in 2020, he was a local known for his skill and love of the environment and sport. There was an apparent structural damage 6 feet up with the impact of ceiling beam and broken glass from a fluorescent light, which was suspected to have been what cut and struck his throat, passing from a neck laceration with massive blood loss. Tyler's family had hired a lawyer, and news outlets were told VANS was not sure when they would reopen in that location. An Instagram account called Who Is Dylan posted about the closing and how he was devastated. Many other social media users commented on how many skate parks have closed over the recent years, including Orlando and Virginia. Some stated how they wish they had more to go to in hopes of staying busy in a healthy manner in today's generation. A petition online was started to possibly reopen or open a new location for a VANS skate park on change.org. It has 1,131 signatures, which started on January 12, 2022, where the person who started the petition, Destin Smith, had said it had been untouched and closed for 2 years at the time. Due to the sensitive manner of the case and what actually took place, many assumed the doors were permanently shut forever, as the vibing culture has also become less popular among the youth of this generation, and well, who can honestly afford at all any or all of this type of need for a liability to run a business like that. Some supporters noted that it was a no waiver skate park and use at your own risk. Not exactly able to confirm that, but if so, then what happened with the lawsuit? Others said they knew there was a waiver in place for first-timers, and after a certain amount of months, you have to re-sign, which would be in an order. Many injuries have obviously occurred there due to the risk of the sport in general, and one post claimed that they saw for sure, due to accidents, there was such coverage, but unsure when it comes to the ultimate unalive situation. I even saw some people upset that it wasn't at least turned into something else that was related, as it was historical to California and the X Games and skills of that culture. As for the lawsuit and downfall of the skate park, according to documents and filings that I had obtained from California state dockets on October 9th, 2020, the estate of Tyler Kinnar with Greg Warren and Kimberly Kinnar filed a complaint against Vans Company LLC and skate park VF Outdoors. From what I have gathered and see, the latest update was refreshed this year in 2023, but the last notations I see are from March 25th, 2022, stating stipulation to dismiss case pursuant to settlement filed by plaintiff Greg Warren. From 2020 to 2022, man, it must have been quite the battle between both sides. It does seem a settlement discussion started to take place on February 17th, and it was finalized into a joint notice on the 18th of 2022. The case was completely terminated on February 22nd that same year and officially dismissed and removed from further scheduling and filing in March. I was unable to get more information regarding the settlement and the amount, but let's be real here, no cost, no amount of money will ever bring that young man back to his family, and no amount of money can erase the events of what actually took place in that skate park center. Have you ever been to a Vans skate park or the Vans Warped Tour concert? If so, who did you see? Do you guys remember when Jeffree Star performed at Warped Tour? I grew up with a lot of local bands that actually made it to the main stage there a few times. Warped Tour and Hoodwink were some of my favorite memories. So tell me in the comments down below, and I will see you in a new video soon. I'm Leenda, and that's For the Record, Your Honor.